We have some more drama with Ethan Klein, the great Ethan Klein. The biggest man-child on the internet. Alright, what is the drama this time? Well, Hila Klein has a company called Teddy Fresh, which makes overpriced clothes that look to be for children, but apparently it's adults who wear that. Alright, what's the drama this time? Well, her hoodie looks to be copied by James Charles' company. The hoodie looks very similar, and they're bitching about that, right? Because Ethan Klein thinks he owns a certain pattern of colors, as if this was an invention. These shirts existed long before Hila drew them. So let's look at the drama here. Ethan Klein says, I know we didn't invent color blocking. Right, correct. But I'm having a hard time with the new James Charles merch. It's the same exact design as Hila's. Well, not exactly the same, but extremely similar, I will admit. The only difference is the sister logo, and the blue is lighter than Teddy Fresh's ugly shirt. Continuing, combined with the fact that his audience is so huge, many people will assume he designed it and start accusing us of plagiarism. What do you think? So why do you assume that you're going to be a victim in the first place? Like, has he done this before? Has he copied someone and then claimed that he was first? It's so childish. Then he admits, it's possible it's all a totally cosmic coincidence, but he used pretty much the identical colors here too. He at least moved them around a little bit. These shirts are so ugly, who the hell would buy this? But alright, let's keep going in this drama. And then Hila Klein shows behind the scenes sketches that she's made. I mean, okay, you drew a normal sweater with different colors at different places. You don't own color patterns. It kind of bothers me, this drama, because, like I said, it's so childish. It's between two extremely rich cunts, excuse my language, that are just getting richer by selling their shitty shirts because they are an internet celebrity. Like, this is the fight of multi-millionaires over pretty much bragging rights of who owns what, who was there first. It's not even going to affect their bottom line at all, because Hila's fans are going to buy that specific shirt, and then James Charles fans are going to buy his shirt. So it doesn't even compete. Let's continue. Ethan Klein says, I give you permission to share a convo. You told me you were going to sell them anyways. You also admitted that the similarity wasn't a coincidence. I DM'd you because I wanted to keep this private, but I found your response combative and dismissive. So you hurt Ethan Klein's big ego. He's very sensitive, and because of that he's taking it publicly. Someone who is mature, even if the other person is quote-unquote combative and dismissive, you still deal with that person in private. You don't create drama just because you didn't like how someone talked to you, and then we have access to those texts, and it's not even that bad. It's ridiculous. But anyways, James Charles said, when you DM'd me yesterday, I sent you the original photo that inspired my collection. Explained I've never seen your brand, but also asked what you wanted me to do. You didn't reply. After last year, I vowed to keep conversations private and create solutions, not drama. So James Charles is more mature than Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein has gray hair. He has a child now. And he is still so fucking immature. And it's not just him. His wife is also immature, and we'll get there in a second. But alright, let's continue. Ethan Klein says, for context, a company made a palette with colors very similar to his, and this was his response. And that's James Charles whining that another palette was similar to his own. So pretty much showing his hypocrisy, where you're whining about one thing and then you'll do something else. But the problem is that James Charles is so big, he has people working for him. He can't start vetting things like that. What James Charles does is approve, and that's what he admits too in the text. His team brings him the designs and he just approves. It's up to his team to be ethical and try not to copy. But again, it's possible it's a coincidence and we don't really know. James Charles says he thinks it might not be a coincidence, but it's possible that the team just saw the design somewhere, didn't recall where it was, and then subconsciously just designed a shirt that looks extremely similar. Maybe they saw it from another company, not Hila's. It's also possible that they just flat out copied, but I assume that the team would have known the drama that would have been caused by copying the merch of a very dramatic couple. So it's very unlikely to me that they saw it, saw Hila's shirt, copied it, and tried to sell the exact same thing. It just doesn't seem plausible to me, but okay. Going back to James Charles' comment, so he says there's so many colors you can put into an eyeshadow palette, and I'm not claiming to own specific colors. That is correct. But when you copy the exact shades and layout from my palette without even trying to hide it, clown emoji. That's right, you don't own color patterns, Charles. So you shouldn't have been angry about this palette, and Ethan should not be angry about you potentially copying his shirt. And why do you even care? I mean, people who are your fans are gonna buy your product, not the cheap knockoff. Okay, Ethan says, James basically admits his team ripped us off, but said it's fine because we don't have the same fan base or demographic. And James Charles is right on the business side, that it doesn't matter because they don't have the same fan base or demographic. That's completely correct. So these products are not competing against each other. But then Ethan says, James basically admits his team ripped us off. But that's not true. Let me read the entire thing. Oof. Looking closer at the screenshot you just sent me, I will give you the heads up that one of the colorways we're doing is actually an exact copy of the purple, tan, pink, and teal hoodie you guys have. Reverse smiley face, that's weird. I designed the pastel one based on the Nike hoodie, but my design team pitched me a bunch of colorways once we decided on doing a color block collection, and I liked that one and said yes. Once again, not being familiar with your brand or hoodie. Okay, I believe him. How many fucking color patterns do you want to have if you're gonna have merch with color blocks? Eventually, it's gonna start looking similar. There are not thousands of colors in existence. Well, I mean, there are, but you know what I mean. It's gonna look similar. He goes on, the units have been produced for a while now, so there's nothing I can do. But I'll definitely be speaking to them because although I didn't copy anything, they certainly may have, right? So he doesn't know because he's the decision maker. He's not the one doing the research and scrutinizing. He doesn't know what's going on in the background, and that's normal when you're this big. And some people are gonna say, well, he's the boss. He should take some responsibility. I agree with that to a certain extent. I think he is responsible in hiring the right people that are going to vet this properly. People that are going to do their research and not make an exact replica of someone else's product, generally speaking, and on a case-by-case basis, of course. And certainly hire people who are not going to flat out steal. That's the extent to which he is responsible. Surrounding himself with the right people. He's not responsible for looking around on the internet to try to find a product that looks similar, so he doesn't do that. And again, even if a product is similar, in the case of apparel, you can still do it. No one owns a pattern of colors. And by similar, I mean exactly what James Charles's sweatshirt looks like versus what Hila's sweatshirt looks like. It's similar, but it's not exactly the same. The branding is different. The color is a little bit different. That's fine. If it was the exact same, a full replica, that would be stealing and that would be unethical. But that's not what's happening here. And then he even says, which is not okay. Ethan responds, not really a coincidence then, is it? James says, but it appears as though it may not be. I'm speaking with the team now, so I'll keep you updated on what they say. And then Ethan Klein just bitches a little bit that hoodies pretty much are hallmark, blah blah blah, fuck off. Okay, finally, the final text. Once again, smiley face upside down, weird. The main hoodie in the collection isn't knocked off. It had a different source of inspiration, has a different color body and different color pocket. And logo is completely different, placement, size, and color. You don't own color block either. Yeah, that's right. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I'm on James Charles' side on this drama. Well, I mean, I hate Ethan Klein more than any other YouTuber, I think, but alright. The other colorway, which I did not personally select but approved, however, is extremely similar, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of how the design team came up with it, is what he was trying to say. All I can tell you is that I've never shopped on your website before, so I did not copy your brand. Alright, so it looks like probably was the team that either got inspired by something extremely similar or the client's designs. I tend to lean towards that it's just a coincidence. They didn't copy off Hila Klein. They were probably just inspired by something that looks extremely similar online because these patterns existed before. So then, let's go back to what Ethan says. James basically admits his team ripped off us, but said it's fine. No, he didn't admit that. He said, I'll be speaking to them because although I didn't copy anything, they certainly may have, which is not okay. He doesn't say yes they have. He says he doesn't know. He assumes maybe they did. I don't know. That's not admitting anything. And then he declined with the ridiculously insane take. James Charles, I don't know anything about your brand. Also James Charles, I know enough about your brand to determine that my merch would not compete with Teddy Fresh. Retarded. Absolutely retarded take. I don't have to know anything about Hila Klein's brand to know that James Charles merch would not compete with Hila because they have different fan bases. That's all that matters. Such a dumb logic. Wow. And then Teddy Fresh on their own page, the company page, is getting dramatic too, right? So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Obviously the CEO is Hila, so she decided to do this. This is so fucking unprofessional. Look at what it is. Big thank you to James Charles for wearing a color block hoodie. And she puts a little thing on it. Wow. Fucking dramatic. Babies. See, this is what happens when dumb fucking people get so popular and then become powerful and then have money, their ego goes unchecked. In the real world of business, putting YouTube aside, obviously YouTube is a legit business. Without YouTube, where the fuck would these people be? I assume that they wouldn't be this dramatic and this petty if they still had to be grinding and being professional to get to the next stage in their careers, but it's so fucking stupid. Some of the comments are pretty good though. Alright, let's keep looking at Ethan Klein. So after he shared the text, he says, as a reply to his own screenshot, why am I sharing this? I think it's worth showing. He admits he ripped us off with all the people who have been denying it. No, he didn't admit anything. Idiot. I have no desire to take legal action, so this is the closest I can get to some sense of justice before he sells a billion of these. A billion. He's gonna sell a billion of these shirts, alright? How many, like, what? His fans are gonna buy like 20 shirts each? Well, okay. I have no desire to take legal action. You would take legal action how? Why? Do you have a trademark on these patterns of colors? Should the companies that came before you that had these exact same patterns, which you can find online easily, you can find it in that Twitter thread, and I'll show it to you. Should that company sue you because they were first? Showed me the trademark. So I mentioned some of these comments were good. Let's look at a fucking moronic comment first. 1,000 likes. I didn't copy you, my merch company ripped you off with my consent, with me doing no research to where they got the idea, and I didn't think twice about giving a shit to your merch. There's so many flaws in that argument. My merch company ripped you off, just approves the final products, he knows nothing. With me doing no research. Why would he do research? He's the decision maker. They don't do research, they just approve. You can't start doing research when you're that busy in his situation to where they got the idea. They might have had the idea anywhere. It doesn't mean that they had the idea from Hila. And didn't think twice about giving a shit about your merch. Of course, why would he give a fuck about their merch? They're not that important. Curb your self-importance. Like he said, he's never been to your store. Why would he just keep thinking about, oh, I wonder what Hila Klein has in her store. I hope that whatever I sell is not already being sold by Hila. The world doesn't revolve around you, Kleins. This is the most intelligent comment I've seen. And of course, only 500 likes compared to the 1,000 likes of the other idiotic comment. There are more stupid people in this world than smart people. So this dude says, honestly, I really think this is drama that isn't suited to someone yours or Hila's age. Abso-fucking-lutely. Who the fuck cares? It's like y'all think these sorts of color block hoodies weren't all the rage in the 80s and 90s. Laugh my ass out. So if you think it's legit, but is it really Twitter worthy? Correct. And then there's another one, a guy who shows multicolored pastel hoodies sold by, who the fuck sells that? They're just random companies, Etsy stores and stuff. Yeah, this is just an ego thing that they have. They think they're so important that if they design something, it's like they created it. It didn't exist before. They must have taken it from us. It's an ego thing. They should get their ego checked, these people. And I'm glad that their podcast is failing because it's absolute shit. Alright, last one. Why is everyone such a dick to James Charles? I'm not even a makeup fan, but it seems like he's the internet punching bag for little to no reason. If we isn't familiar with your merch, it's very reasonable to assume that he didn't know his team rip off your merch. And it's probably also reasonable to think that his team did not even rip off his merch, that they just got inspired from somewhere else. They're big fucking babies, man. And when James Charles takes the high road and doesn't perpetuate that drama, you know that you need to keep your drama in check and your emotions in check. At the end of the day, this is just an ego thing among millionaires, and we shouldn't give a fuck about that. We should give enough of a fuck to laugh at it, like I'm doing.
Where did Hannah go?
Like this video or die, biatch. You have to like... Yep, I didn't miss it. I want you to like, now get the fuck out of here.